to be back. This feels like therapy. And since I don't have a therapist right now, my loss is your gain. I have more stories. I love stories. I used to love reading them, and now I love telling them. Well, apparently, when I was 11 or 12, I was invited to the home of an elder for a sleepover party. The daughter of the elder was close to my age, and there were about 12 other girls altogether. I was bored with the conversations and couldn't really relate to any of them. I had maybe 2 or 3 friends out of that group that were close, so I suggested a scary story. We were in the basement. It was dark. It was the first fun thing I could think of. So, the mom had gone upstairs, and it was just me with the girls in the basement. So I sat by all of them and told my porcelain doll story, where I saw one of my dolls move. In all honesty, I was probably overtired and staring at the doll way too long. And we all know when you stare at something too long, especially in a state of fear, our minds can easily play tricks on us, right? But of course this became my scary story about my doll that moved. While I was telling that story, the girl's mom, also known as the elder's wife, came down the stairs and started questioning me. I don't remember the details fully, because as far as I knew, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't realize anything I did was wrong. But after that point, she started bullying me. She called me a party pooper because I didn't want to engage with the group, and I kind of sat off to my side by myself after being reprimanded. The next day, I was tolerated and given the cold shoulder by the girl's mom, and the daughter seemed to be keeping her distance from me, along with a few of the girls in the group. I just honestly wanted to go home. But that wasn't the end of it. When I was picked up by my parents, the wife of the elder made sure to have a talk with them about me telling a scary story. And what's weird is the elder's wife treated me the worst for years after that. She acted cold and pretty much treated me like I was nothing in that congregation. So I pretty much ignored her as well. The rest of her family, including her husband, the elder, and the daughter and the son, they were so nice to me. So it was a strange thing that I just never understood. My other story is a happier one, and I think one of triumph. I got my first Whitney Houston album as a gift from my uncle at the age of 5, and I was absolutely obsessed. I couldn't get enough of listening to Whitney Houston. I wanted to sing, but my family only encouraged it at home for family and friends at mahjong parties and Filipino get-togethers. My mom's side is Filipino. So when I was 15, I auditioned for Amateur Night at the Apollo, and I made it into a Wednesday night show. The Wednesday night shows are not televised, but it was still a huge deal for me. For those of you that might not know, the Apollo stage has had legends in music. I'm talking some of the greatest musicians and artists to ever be alive in this world. They were on that stage. And along with being on that stage is a tradition. A tradition, before you go out and perform, to rub a tree stump. There's a tree stump in the corner of the stage, just in the wings of backstage, right? So you can kind of see it in the shadows. They kind of show it on camera when you see the Amateur Night at the Apollo. And in the wings of the stage, you can always see the performer rubbing that tree stump before they walk out on stage. I felt it was also a symbol connecting all of the amazing people that graced that stage. So of course, when the elders found out that I was going to be on the Apollo, they came to the house and had a talk with me and my family. They basically told me they couldn't tell me what to do, but that rubbing that tree stump was not in accordance with Jehovah's laws. To them, it was a symbol of luck and superstition. And then they said that this was going to be a test of my faith in Jehovah. So basically, they threw on a ton of guilt and said it's really up to me, once again, because I hadn't been baptized, and they couldn't force me to do or not do anything. My parents and grandparents went along with what they said, and basically told me to do what I felt was right. But I knew the tree stump and the symbolism behind it went far back, far beyond luck and superstition. It was almost like a sign of respect and admiration for all those who performed on that stage. I wasn't going to dare disrespect not only the legends that had been there, but also the audience. That audience had the power to rip me apart. They had the power to applaud or boo me off the stage, because when you perform on amateur night, if you get booed, there's a guy that comes out with a cane and he actually escorts you off the stage with like special music. So it's like kind of an embarrassing thing. So to go on amateur night at the Apollo in the first place is something that takes a lot of courage to muster up. If I didn't rub that tree stump, I would have never lived down the hissing and the boos that would have incited. So yeah, I did it my way. My high school vice principal made a school field trip out of it, and about 50 people came with me to support my performance and cheer me on. And for me, I'll never forget the fact that I rubbed that tree stump. I laid hands on the same exact place as people such as Josephine Baker, James Brown, Nat King Cole, Ella Fitzgerald, Miles Davis, Sam Cooke, Aretha Franklin, Billie Holiday, Mahalia Jackson. I mean, are you kidding me? And that's just a few of the names I can tell you right now. So after one elder asked what I did after the performance, they never mentioned or spoke to me about it again. If I had done things their way, I'd probably still be traumatized. That night, I sang I Will Always Love You, and I lost to a 12-year-old girl who sang the Fugees' version of Killing Me Softly. But I didn't mind, because looking back on it, I did it. Of course, I cried on the bus home, which I opted to take with my friends, but I will never forget that night. On another note, I do plan on doing some tarot readings for each astrology sign on a monthly basis. I've always loved tarot cards, and I've always seen them as a psychological tool because they go very deep into the psyche. When you read them, I feel that you're tuning into the frequencies of that moment. I believe that everything that surrounds us and everything within us resonates to a particular frequency. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you know the secrets between the numbers 3, 6, and 9, you'll know the secrets of the entire universe." So no, I don't believe that tarot cards are evil. I don't believe that oracle cards are evil. I think that that was another system of control that was put in the Bible so that people wouldn't be able to have more power than those who were in control. That's just my personal opinion. So I will be doing readings on this channel in the near future. Another story, before I go, is how I figured out I was able to do future readings. What happened was I was working as a painting instructor at Michael's, and this was a few years ago. This is in between when I was working at different makeup jobs. So in between that, I was a painting instructor, and I was creating my own schedule. So 3 weeks in advance, I had to give my bosses my layout for my scheduling for that month. And what happened was very, very strange. I started to notice that the days that I needed off, or the days where I would get like very few, but if the days that I got sick or needed off or had to go to some event that I didn't know about prior, I was already off. So I was like, wait a minute, why is it that I'm scheduling these like 3-4 weeks in advance and I couldn't possibly know that I needed that day off for this particular thing? And this kept happening for several months. And I started to think about it, and I was like, wait a minute, if I can do this with my schedule, why can't I do this with readings? Why can't I start doing future readings for astrology signs using the tarot deck? And why wouldn't it work, right? So I tried it. And back about 5-6 years ago, when I had this channel and I had all those videos up, I started doing those readings. And I absolutely loved it. I had so much fun doing them. I felt like I was able to help a lot of people. And I felt like I was uplifting people in a lot of ways. I felt like I was able to tune into the people who were watching my channel. Even though I didn't actually see them in my mind, I didn't actually see who was watching, right? What happens is the message will come out very clear, and it's meant for the right people. So a lot of times people think that psychics or mediums see things like extremely clearly, like they see like the person that's watching them or whatever, but that's not the case. We'll actually just see the messages come through almost like a movie. So as I've said on my other video, everything plays out in my mind just like a movie. So I hope you will stay tuned. I hope you will watch, and I hope you will like this video and share and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you so much to all of my new subscribers. I am so grateful. And if you have similar experiences to what I talk about, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear them. All right, see you soon.